I was reading on CNN.
Okay.
There's an article that said 5 mistakes women make at the doctor's office.
Go on.
So I know what you're thinking. You're like, how can I make a mistake at the doctor's office? That's like his job to diagnose me. I'm not the doctor, right?
No, that's not really what I was thinking.
So what were you thinking?
I don't know. I think you could make mistakes to the doctor. You could lie. You could not ask enough questions.
Well, here are the 5 biggest mistakes, according to CNN, that women make at the doctor's office.
Okay.
And let me see if you agree with these or maybe if you ever made these mistakes.
All right.
I'm trying to help you out here.
Okay, thanks, Bucky.
Number 1, women don't question doctors. So let me ask you this. Did you ever have a question that you were just too afraid to ask? Too embarrassed, maybe?
No, because luckily I've never really had anything serious happen. Well, actually,
Not so much serious, but...
let me think back. Hold on. Yeah, I kind of did have one time where, like, I don't know. It was a female doctor, though.
What was it? Or is it still too embarrassing to ask?
It's not really it wasn't embarrassing. It was just like, I don't know. I think she had, like, preconceived
So what was it?
judgments. I'm not going to go into it. That's personal doctor business.
Way to build us up and let us down.
Ugh, whatever. Next one.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Women tend to do not do over research, but women tend to over research. So, for example, you
Yeah.
might be thinking something's wrong with your body, so you're going to look it up on Google and print out like 1,000 pages.
Oh my God. That's my grandma in a nutshell.
So, do you have like one specific case scenario or did you ever do this? Like be like, this isn't right, this little lump on my arm. So you printed out like 1,000,000 encyclopedias.
No.
You just kind of go to the doctor and be like, hey, what he tells me, he knows more than Google, than Wikipedia.
Yeah, or like WebMD.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I've never had anything like that. My grandma definitely does. She's crazy, period.
Do you think that sometimes maybe you go to the doctor's office and you'd be like, all right, I got this bone that's popping out right here. And they're like, and they pretend they know what they're talking about, but really they go in the back room and, look it up on Google real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I need you to pop my shoulder back in. And they're like, oh, yeah, I know how to do that. Just 1 second.
Hold on. And they watch like a
Wikipedia.
quick how-to video. Like,
They watch a video on YouTube like, oh, okay. And Bucky, yeah, okay, let's take it. It had to happen at least once.
yeah.
So anyways, you don't over-research?
No, I don't. But actually, back to the first one. I did. I couldn't remember like the actual like what it was about, but I remember now.
What
like
was
why
it?
I was questioning. It was about that like Gardasil HPV shot, for like you've never heard. It's like all over TV commercials and stuff for it, but it's like 3 shots you get to like prevent you from like getting like cervical cancer or something.
Oh, I don't watch TV. It corrupts my brain.
All right, well I do. So as you can see,
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
All right.
She tried to, every time I go to the doctor, she's just like, you need to get this, blah, 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 like, telling me that I need this shot. But, like, there's another like. But my own personal research, I've actually, like, seen, I don't know, I don't think it's good. It's a new product, and it's, I don't know, people have, like, girls have died and stuff.
Yeah, probably not
And,
a
like,
good
had
idea
heart
then.
attack. I don't know. I just disagreed with her on that. And I still do to this day.
So let's go ahead and go to number 3, and that's women don't recognize gender bias. And the explanation behind this was that studies have shown that whenever you go to the doctor with a medical problem, the doctors are more likely to just kind of pass it off as you have emotional issues or you're just complaining about something. So it's that women don't recognize this.
Well,
So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt, not only at the doctor, but have you ever been discriminated against because you're a female? How so? At the doctor?
No, never at the doctor. I have a female doctor, so I don't know. Do female doctors discriminate against other female doctors?
It didn't say. Didn't go into depth.
I don't know. Maybe some female doctors do, but I've never really felt. But then again, I hate the doctor, so like the less I go, the better I am.
So aside from the doctors, what was one time where you've been discriminated against because you were a female? Tough one. This is obviously very painful to talk about.
This is like,
Her eyes are tearing up, I can see it.
I don't know. I just hate when I get cracks about like female drivers and stuff. That's not like one single person like discriminating against me, but it's like your whole species like discriminating against my whole species.
So they like
and it hurts.
put you in a stereotype?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are bad drivers. I've seen a lot of bad male drivers. I've seen a lot of horrible female drivers.
So anyways, did anything happen to you in the parking garage today?
Mom, I got hit in the parking lot.
Until... Who was it by? This is the most stereotypical.
So I feel like we've talked about this before maybe on the show, but our office building is like the first floor, half of it is like a Chinese restaurant. And this ain't no like P.F. Chang's. This is like China 35, and it's strictly, we've never seen a white person walk in there.
No.
Not being racist or anything. It just must be awesome Chinese food. Because,
Well, I was talking to someone before. He was like helping me move a chair or something, and he's like, "Have you been to that Chinese restaurant?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, it's not like American Chinese food. Like you can get like, what's it? Not like bourbon, like sesame chicken or something." He's like, "It's like real Chinese food."
And it smells like real Chinese food too.
Yeah. So, anyways, go on.
After like 5:30, once all the office people leave, the parking lot is still full, but it's full with all like Hondas and Toyotas and, all the Chinese people or Asian people who are going to eat at this restaurant. And so I came back today from getting food on my break. And, like, I get out of my car and I have, like, 3 bags on me. I'm just ready to go back upstairs, like, trying not to take too long. But this lady is backing out in her Honda Odyssey out of the spot. And I'm like, our cars are back to back. She's over a little bit more. But I'm standing here and I'm like, go ahead, reverse, do your thing. She had, like, kids in the car, whatever else. So she's backing up. And when, like, someone's getting close to your car, and in your mind, they can't hear you, obviously, because they're in their car, but you're like, don't hit me. Don't hit me.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Crossing your fingers.
Brake. Yep. Well, I was, like, thinking in my head, like, don't do it. Don't do it, lady. Don't do it. And it was, like, ding, ding, ding. And then it was, like, it just, like, hit the back of my car. Luckily, she jumped out after, like, I don't know, her sliding door was, like, sliding back and forth on her minivan. And she was, like, freaking out, and I couldn't understand her, and she couldn't really understand me. But the back of her Honda Odyssey was, like, right where the thingy is. Like, it was bent in a little bit, like her bumper.
A little damage.
Yeah, but mine wasn't bad. And then she was, like, freaking out, so I was just like, go.
I don't know if you knew this, but the 2 most stereotyped bad drivers out there, from what I hear, are Asians and women.
Yeah.
And she was both.
Or, well, never mind.
Yeah, or just go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess
but
she
I'm
didn't do...
But I'm a good woman driver.
Mm-hmm, that's what they all say.
And I was out of the car, Mom. I know I've backed into, like, a couple people before, and I've been like, they backed into me, but, like, I'm in the car, too, and I'm in reverse, too. But this time, I was out of the car, my car was locked, my keys were in my purse, like, it was all this lady's fault.
Good driver, that's what they all say. So, anyways, number 4... Women interpret their own symptoms. So instead of, giving facts, they just kind of give an own interpretation of their symptoms. So are you guilty of this? Of course, not me. I'm the good driver. Right. You never did any of this stuff.
No, I did. I told you I did.
So do you think that sometimes you don't give the doctors facts, but you kind of interpret?
I do. I kind of overanalyze sometimes. I'll be like, yeah, I have bronchitis.
So you don't even, like, give your interpretation. You're just like, yeah, this is what I have. Go ahead and prescribe me medicine.
Give me a Z-Pack right now.
Give me 20 milligrams 3 times a day. Tell them exactly how it's done.
In the morning and night after food. But, yeah, I've done that. But most of the time, when I do tell them, like, what's wrong, because, like, at the same time every year, like, September, October, November, I've got bronchitis, like, at least one time.
On schedule.
On schedule, like, here you go, have fun. But I always know when I know the feeling. It's, like, wheezy in your chest and, like, I don't know.
Yeah, you know
so
better.
So I go in and I'm like, Doc, my chest's wheezy. And they're just like, oh, okay.
So you know the feeling, which brings me to number 5, that sometimes women don't trust their intuition. And they say quite often your gut feeling is spot on, but you don't want to say anything because, you don't want to go in and offend the doctor like they don't know what they're doing. So instead you just kind of sit back when you kind of have an idea, maybe I have bronchitis, but I don't want to, like, do his job for him or her job for her and offend her. So I guess you're not guilty of this one.
I'm not trying to be like a conceited jerk or like, you know, like.
Well, I mean, you can't be like 4 and 5. You can't
What
be.
do you mean?
Well, number 4 was like you kind of interpret your own symptoms and kind of do the doctor's job for them. And number
Right.
5 is like you don't say enough.
No, I don't do 5. Definitely not. Like,
So
I'll
you're more
tell
of a
them
4?
what. Yeah, I'm definitely 4. I usually tell them like how I'm feeling, what I think it could be, like what my mother printed out for me. You know, she does that.
See,
But-
my mom is a nurse, so I had the luxury of kind of, you know, getting a heads up and, you know.
But you probably could never be like, Mom, I'm sick.
No, I couldn't fake her. Couldn't fake her out.
Oh, my mom knows. I faked her out. So eventually it wasn't even like I'm sick anymore. I was just like,
Mom, not going to school today. Don't
Pretty
worry
much.
about it.